I'm going to say like, it's time we put this track to the test, and we couldn't have picked a better car. It's a, oh God, there's a plane landing. Hello and welcome to the YesAuto test centre at the Sywell Aerodrome in Northampton. Now, as you know, YesAuto is the new home of motoring, and as the home of motoring, we need somewhere where we can take cars and push them to their absolute limits. And what better place to do that than somewhere with a massive runway? Now, most publications will do drag racing and slalom tests, which are all brilliant, but we thought we would do something a little bit different. Yes, we plan on still doing drag tests. Everybody loves a drag race, but we thought we would create a sprint track and time the performance cars that we get to see which is fastest. This is the start-finish straight, so we'll have the cars here, primed and ready, engines revving, and then when they get the signal, we'll hit the start button and we'll fly off down to, we've got just a few white squares further down the track, and that'll act as a really small chicane, so the cars will go left and then right really quickly before heading off down to the hairpin at the end of the runway. This is the first heavy braking zone of the course. So the cars will be coming down here at 200, 250 miles an hour. Okay, maybe not, maybe 100, 130. Coming down here into a really tight right-hander. And it's actually a lot trickier than it looks. So not only is it a swooping hairpin that goes all the way around the width of the runway, you don't actually have a lot of runoff area. So mess this up, you're either going in the field or you're knocking out one of the runway lights, and we're going to get in a lot of trouble if we do that. Making your way further around the corner, again, it's all about getting on the power kind of really as late as possible, because if you're in a front-wheel drive car and you slam the accelerator, you're going to run wide and go off onto the grass. But when you do hook that corner up perfectly, you'll then come out, clip the apex on the left-hand corner, and you'll be sent flying down the straight back into the next chicane. This is another major braking point on the track, and yes, that's me all the way over on the right-hand side of your screen. So what will happen is you'll be coming out of the hairpin and have built up quite a bit of speed by the time you get to here, and then you'll be slamming on the brakes. So you slam on the brakes and enter this white rectangle. Now, you've got to use your imagination a little bit here. So you're going to enter here, turn right, and walk over to the, or drive over, I should say, to the opposite side of the circuit. And when you're driving down here, you'll be aiming for this, the exit or the end of this white rectangle. It's very, very tight, especially when you're approaching it at well over 100. So after you've done that, you then exit here, move back over to the left, and we enter the final section of the circuit. This is the final corner on the circuit, and it could be one of the most challenging. Yes, it's a simple hairpin. You're simply coming down here and turning back to face the other direction of the runway, but how you approach it is key. You could either come at it at full throttle, brake in a straight line and do a hairpin turn, or you could come in, brake a little earlier and get a wider line so that you maximize your corner exit. Either way, it's a real challenge of car and driver. It's time to put the track to the test, and we couldn't have picked a better car. It's a Skoda Kamiq. Okay, perhaps we could have done better, but it was the only car that we had. Anyway, in 3, 2, 1, go! On board with our editor, Nick Francis, behind the wheel of the rapid Skoda Kamiq. So this is the first little chicane, a quick left and a right. It's going to be really interesting to see how performance cars handled that, but obviously in a Kamiq there's a lot of body roll. So this is the long stretch down into the first hairpin. Again, you'll be building up to maybe 100, 110, 120 in a supercar. In here, I think we got up to about 90. Now this is the first major braking zone. Slam on the brakes and tip it into the right-hander. You can see there's zero margin for error here. If you get it wrong, you are flying off the circuit. So you've got to be really precise with your inputs. Very, very clean exit there from Nick, and you can see there was a little bit of a shimmy on the car there, and that's because he was constantly fighting the traction control. These cars really don't want to be thrown around a lap of a circuit, and so it tries to cut out and stabilise the car if it notices any kind of slip or loss of traction. Now we're heading into the second chicane, and this is a really tough one because there's no real braking reference. So you come in, turn right, and then tip it into the left. Nick taking a few liberties with the apex on that corner.
What a majestic beast. Right, into the final hairpin. Take a left and then swoop around to the right. A nice wide line so that you can get on the power really early, get as much speed as you can and build up as much momentum on the run up to the finish line.
Right, we have a time. A 1:38.04. I don't know if that's any good or not, but it's a benchmark at least. So there you have it, our first hot lap of the Sywell Sprint circuit. What did you think? I mean, a 1:38.04, it could be a fast time. It's probably not a fast time. It's actually going to be a very slow time. So at least we've got a benchmark on the board. But we plan on putting a lot faster car stuff around here. We'll have supercars, we'll have hot hatches, but I don't know, I thought it was pretty funny to have a cheap Skoda SUV fly around, and maybe we'll do more of that kind of stuff. For more incredible car content, head over to the home of motoring at YesAuto.com. There's another plane landing, and oh, he's on grass.